Hey, we're back. Hey, where'd Barry go? Hold on. Hey, we
Hey,
lost
Barry.
you there, Barry.
You put me backstage.
I wonder why I did that.
Thought
Hey,
you were gonna do a
welcome,
big
Barry. We
reveal.
got the Premium Edition games here tonight to talk about their direct. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah.
What's been going on since we last saw you?
Yeah, I
You've
saw
been
you
busy.
post it five times. This is gonna be fifth time on this channel. That's awesome.
Yeah,
Thank
the
you.
Five Timers Club. How about that?
First time, thank you for having us back this many times. But yeah, things have been crazy busy since the last time. Last time I was on for Series 4, for the first half of Series 4, technically, because we surprised everybody with a third game for Series 4 in the summer. Yeah, we've been behind the scenes working, and the crazy thing is we have so much more that we can't even talk about. Like 2023 is already stacked with so many exciting announcements.
Oh,
But
wow.
we just wanted to get some updates out and get this really big direct out there, and glad that it went over well and that people have been enjoying it.
Awesome. Well, the Go Game Aquarium is happy you're back, Barry.
Well, thank you so much, Go Game Aquarium. I'm
My
happy to be
mom.
back.
Hey, Jeff Davis. How's it going? Kurt Bradshaw. Salvatore.
All right, look at this. Lots of people tonight.
We got a lot of people in here already.
All right.
I can, let me see here. I can have this playing in the background. This is your direct.
Yes. Yeah, one thing we wanted to really highlight with this direct is just how much we appreciate our developer partners that we've been working with and our digital publishing partners that we've been working with, and we really wanted to give them some love because they're the real rock stars, and we really wanted just to show pretty much here's where we started with our releases. There's some Super Blood Hockey with Pete, love it, and then here's where we're going with it.
So, Barry, when's Super Blood Hockey 2 coming out?
Super Blood Hockey 2, that's up to... I have no idea. That's up to Loren to do anything. And if he does it, if he wants to work together again, we would be honored. But, that's the thing. Whenever we do these contracts, we don't lock developers or publishers in there.
Oh, into their next games or anything?
Yeah, no, it's kind of like, have you seen Marvel? They change their contracts where they're like, oh, we don't want to lock people into a 10-movie deal. We want them to do one movie, and then we want them to be so excited and they want to come back. So we did the same thing. We want developers to say we had such a good experience the first time around that we want to come back and we want to do it again.
That's the way to have it, right?
And that's already happening. It hasn't happened publicly, but it is, we've definitely been in talks with people, developers and publishers that we worked with before. So we'll have more of that stuff to announce later.
Yeah, I saw. I've of course gone through the direct already, and I was happy to see some of the stuff towards the end, which I'm sure we'll talk about later. But along that line, where it's 1 and 2, and stuff like that. So some great people involved.
Oh yeah, we're really excited about that, and that's what we strive for. We're a company built by gamers and collectors for gamers and collectors, and we just really want to do things for all the developers and for all the publishers, because we had that dream, like, oh, I wish I could make a game, and you want to see that dream game, and especially in an age where digital is overtaking physical.
Yes.
We want to give these developers their dream physical game that we can, and that's why all of the games that we've released, currently, as well as what's already up, we work with the developers. They give their input, sometimes ad nauseum, to change things, but we want to make it as perfect as possible for them and that they're happy. That's our goal.
Everybody should have taken note of that screen that just went by, right?
Yeah.
All the different groups and companies you guys have worked with,
and that's all previously. Yeah,
that's what I mean. Take note of that screen, because the one that comes later is pretty impressive.
We did that on purpose. We were like, let's do something cool. Let's just show the difference.
Barry, it worked perfectly, because I looked at that and it's like, oh, I recognize that one. I recognize that one. I recognize that one, and that's that's a good pat on the back for you guys, right?
We're honored, like I said, with everybody
Yeah.
that we've worked with, and we've had the pleasure to work with, and we strive to continue to do that and make them happy. Like I said, when we've told this to many developers and publishers in meetings, we're not signing a contract for a game. This is just the foundation of our relationship for years and years to come.
This is Raji, right?
Yes. So this is a game we announced last Direct. We talked a little bit about it, and we're so honored to have this game. This is we wanted the enhanced edition. We had to wait for it, and there was a delay. Truth be told, Raji was supposed to come out in the summer. They had a delay getting it all done. It was supposed to come out with Rack and Ruin, and because Raji was delayed, we said, well, why should we hold up Rack and Ruin? So that's why Rack and Ruin came out in the summer, because it was all done, ready to go as part of Series 4. And Raji has been pushed till it's ready. We're not going to release a game early. We're not going to release a game half-assed. We're not going to release a game with that day one update that's needed. We're going to wait and make sure we do it right.
This game is beautiful.
It's amazing looking.
Yeah, Raji is one that a lot of people have been emailing. When is it coming? When is it coming?
Yeah.
And we're so happy to do that. And we've been working with the developers. The developers are wonderful people, and Super is a wonderful publisher. And it just the thing is Super. When we first reached out to them, they actually said that they had heard horror stories about physical publishing, and they were scared. And it took us about 6 months of negotiation with them just to convince them to give us a shot with Raji.
Wow.
So we're like, yeah, we want to make it the right way. We want you to be happy. And we're very fortunate and we're very appreciative that they did, in fact, give us a chance.
That's beautiful.
And Series 5, do they all come out this year, or do some come out? Okay.
So one of the things we talked about at the beginning of the Direct is we're changing things up a bit, because some people know what the series are and some people don't. So we've noticed, like at conventions, when we're like, oh, this is a Series 3 title, they're like, what? So internally, we're still going to call them series. For those that have been following us since the beginning, we're going to call them series. But we're basing them around seasons. So Series 5 is fall 2022, which means that all of Series 5 will be out in the fall, but they're not all out together. Tomorrow, 2 titles will drop. Raji's not one of them, but look forward to Raji and the next title shown off here shortly in the next month or so.
When you said tomorrow 2 title shows, is that for pre-order, or are they ready
pre-order?
To go?
Pre-order.
Okay.
Yeah, all of our titles have a month-long open pre-order. We're not a limited company. We want to make sure that anybody that wants to get the game gets an opportunity to get the game. If they miss it, once it's in hand, we will have it up there. If we have any left, we'll have it at conventions if we have any left. And if there's a demand, we will reprint. But we do the open pre-order just to make sure, because we have to do an initial order. And we really want to make sure that we meet the demand, because if it says, well, the initial order is going to be 5,000, we do it, and the pre-order is 10,000, now we have to tell 5,000 people you got to wait when the first 5,000 get their games. As we figure we'll just do it all at once.
Sure. And it also is a bit of a safety for yourself as well, because if something doesn't go as expected, you don't have to order as many necessarily, correct? Does that make sense?
The minimum on Switch is 5,000.
Is it 5? I was thinking it was 1, but you've said that before on here.
Yeah. So it is 5,000. So we will order 5,000. That's a guaranteed minimum. You know it's happening. So if a game doesn't perform as well, which it's unfortunate, we will obviously do second chance sales. We do conventions.
Sure.
We've sold out of titles before. We've reordered before. One of the games that's up right now on our website, we have put out a special version of Robot Named Fight in a steelbook. That is a reorder. We reordered an extra 1,000 copies to get that steelbook version, because we had 1,000 steelbooks laying around, and we said, well, what do we do with these? Because we had to order, the steelbook minimum was more than what we made. So we said, let's do a special version. We got the steelbooks already. So that's a special version that's up right now, because people have asked us for Robot, and we will most likely order another set of Robot in the future. And it's a very popular game.
as long as people are still there looking to buy it. I think that the absolute limit, we're done. There will never be any more. We're going to limit it to 1,000 or 5,000, whatever. I think that puts a bad taste in people's mouths.
I think it changes it. So I think there's collectors out there that I shouldn't say collectors, more like investors that will buy it just because of that. And they get mad. They're like, "Oh, well, I want to buy this because there's only 5,000, let alone, oh, there's 10 or 100,000, whatever." Now it's not as interesting. And you know what? If you don't want to buy it because of that, that's fine. Because we sell the games that we fall in love with and we do love, and that's why we do the challenge cards. You know, we want you to open them up. We want you to play them.
Who is in the majority though in your mind? Like I'm thinking the investors would be far outnumbered, although they may be spending more money, would be far outnumbered by the collectors and the gamers.
Oh yeah, there's way more collectors.
You want to focus at them, and you want to make that the larger group happier, I would think.
Absolutely. Like this game here, They Bleed Pixels, which is going to be with Raji from Spooky Squid Games. This is this game we've been sitting on for a while. We've been sitting on this for almost a year now. And we were just waiting for the right time to put it out. And it's just, like, this is a game that we just all fell in love with because we like that, like, Super Meat Boy style, you know, punishing platformer, but the ability to have this combat system involved where you actually get to defeat the enemies and then create your own checkpoints. So you don't have to go, oh man, I have to go through this hard part again. You can create a checkpoint past that hard point, and you can create multiple checkpoints as long as you keep doing the combos. It's just a lot of fun, and I think people are really going to enjoy it.
I was wishing there were more checkpoints in Celeste when I was playing that. That was
exactly.
That was a rough one.
So the way this works is you have a meter. So every time you defeat enemies, you fill up that meter, and when it's full, you can use the entire meter to create a checkpoint wherever you want, and that's it. And then you could refill the meter as you go along. So whenever you feel like, all right, this looks like a tough jump, make that checkpoint, and there's enough enemies that you'll always be able to refill. But the combat system, it's a one-button combat, but it's like Smash Brothers. So when you push the button, if you push up, you do a different move than if you push down, and if you push right or left, or just the regular button. And you could chain together combos, and it's so deep for just a one-button thing.
Wow.
Right. Who was the developer on that?
Spooky Squid Games did that one.
Have they put anything else out on Switch?
That I'm not honestly sure about. I think this might be one of their first ones. But yeah, Miguel, he's a phenomenal developer, awesome guy to work with, and and we cherish that partnership. So it's really cool to finally, again, he's been very quiet. We've had that one for a while, but we wanted to wait for the right time to put it out. We said, well, we need something spooky for Halloween, and it's not like a horror game in that sense, but it definitely has the horror vibes. So it's not like, oh, I don't like scary games. You could totally play and enjoy it. So these are the Gamers for Gamer variants for Series 3. Each of these is 20% of the purchase price goes to help Gamers for Kids charity. We did this for Demon's Tier previously, which is also ironically on the screen, and it went over really well. So these ones will be out this fall. All three will be out this fall. They're in hand, but they will be staggered throughout Series 5. We do have copies at conventions, so there are some people right now that actually have those copies. They wound up meeting them at a convention and picking them up.
That's awesome.
Salvatore wants to know in general how many pages are your manuals?
Pages, I think they range from 20 to 30 pages. All of our manuals, they are full color. I can check.
The game guide here?
No, that's the hand-drawn game guide from for Cathedral. That's different. He's talking the game manual. So I got Demon's Tier here. I've got the very one shown. This is the Gamers for Gamers one. So let me check the manual here. I'll do it right live because everyone's different. So here's the thickness, if you could see of the manual. So you could see there's a thickness, and this manual here is 23 pages. So the last page with stuff is 22, and then there's a note page in the back. And all of our manuals, just to show, just a random page. They're all full color. So it looks like you got Cathedral there. How big is Cathedral?
Cathedral is still flipping 43 pages. Plus
there you go.
Cover, so. Wow. And
so see, I said 20 to 30. And look at that foil. I love that foil.
Oh yeah, it's beautiful.
Oh wow, that is nice.
The
Right?
whole color.
Yeah, they're beautiful inside.
So you get 20. I said 20 to 30. That one's 42. So
Yeah.
right there, I'm actually proven correctly, but in the better way. We don't do cheapo manuals. All the games get a retro manual. Speaking of books, we just saw Switch Collector Volume 2 Part 2 is up right now on Kickstarter. So, make sure to pick that up if you want the whole catalog of Switch physicals. That's an awesome book series. Minimal
And
orders Switch games from Nintendo. We're working a Wave Buster for Playdate and Switch. We want to do physical, but aren't sure. Yeah, sure. So first off, definitely make sure to send me a message on Twitter at Hawk Hellfire. Always looking to talk to more developers. But to answer your question, Switch physical in America is 5,000. I believe Europe is 3,000. PlayStation minimum in America is 1,000. Playdate doesn't have physical, so I can't. there's no minimums there. But yeah, those are the minimums. Just so you're aware. But yeah, if we're always looking for developers. One of the things I do is outreach. So if you have a cool game and you want to show it off, definitely send me a message, and we can start talking. Who knows? Maybe you'll be on another direct.
so besides games and books, you have merch now.
Yes, so we're doing some merch. We got the flasks as shown. We did dog tags. We did the pre-order dog tags, and we also have the starter set dog tags that are available on the webpage right now. And then we're also having a bunch of other perks coming with different merch. We're always looking for new merch ideas. And now, as we're talking with developers, we're actually talking with them about different merch ideas for each individual game. So we might see some new game related merch. As long as it's feasible, not too out there, and the developers are like, yeah, really, because sometimes they say I really want this and it won't fit. So we go ahead and we'll try and make it happen to the best of our ability. Now this segment, truthfully, was neutered. This segment was much bigger in the original script. I had to cut it out because I was told the direct was already too long. So we have a separate presentation coming, but it's a big announcement. It was our tease from Series 3. We talked about it when I was on here, but we didn't reveal what it was. But it is the fact that we're doing PlayStation, and we do have PlayStation games lined up, and we're working on that actively as we speak. The original version of the script actually showed some PlayStation games. We were gonna blow the lid right open, but as we talked before the show about how big this direct is, we're like, it's big enough. Let's make a separate show. So look forward either later this year or early next year. We're gonna have another presentation for PlayStation.
So that's PlayStation 4 and 5.
I was about that.
PlayStation 4 and 5. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're excited about that. People have been asking, what about PlayStation? There's PlayStation only collectors. Will you do that? But we're doing I can't talk about the specifics here, but I can say if you've seen our Switch games and you know our Switch standards, we go above and beyond. They're not standard releases. But we're going to do something very similar with PlayStation. Like, we're not going to settle. We're going to make something really cool. So, and hopefully everyone likes it. But I'll have more to talk about next time I'm on. We'll probably be talking about that. Blow that lid right open.
Well, do you think you'll ever have any of the same game on Switch and PlayStation?
So that is absolutely a very good question. And the answer is, if the developers want to, we will gladly work with them again. One thing we want to avoid is criticism of, oh, you're just releasing all the same games again, because we've seen that criticism go to other publishers. We don't want that criticism. So while I will not say yes or no to that, what I can say is that we do have some games that are PlayStation only. That would be PlayStation only in the premium catalog. Some games that are only on PlayStation, and some that are actually on both, but we're only going to do PlayStation as of now. Now, if we do a PlayStation game and everyone says, "Oh, I want it on Switch. I want it on Switch. I want it," and the demand is there, we will. Okay, the people have spoken. Absolutely, go for it. But and that's where we'll see. We really want to give people what they want.
Hey Barry, when does this come out?
The classic series. So the classic series was supposed to be out already. Again, it hit a delay. Our developer is doing a phenomenal job on it. I've played a PC build. It's like he's doing so much work, but he's one man. So he's going above and beyond. And our hope, fingers crossed, is this fall we will actually have the classic series up as well. It's not part of Series 5; it's its own thing, but we hope to have it.
Oh, cool.
If we don't, it's going to be early 2023. But unfortunately, we did hit a snag. I can definitely confirm that what now with this, what we did is we could have just thrown everything onto just a list and picked the game, but the developer went above and beyond. Like the game selection is like a 1980s living room with the TV, and you have to pull the NES carts out, and you could rotate them. They're in 3D, and they got all the information on it, and there's posters in the back that change depending on what game you pick. The soundtrack is there as a cassette. You have all the game soundtracks you can pick, as well as some bonus games outside of the 10 that are going to be exclusive to this physical version.
Yep.
Yeah, I just noticed something here.
Yeah.
Strangest IO. I was thinking, like, where do I know the name from? They did Necro Crisis on Playdate. It's this great, it's almost like a light gun game.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it's.
Oh yeah, I remember watching your video on that, Jeff.
Yeah, it was so cool.
What do you mean? What the CPU is for?
I'm not sure what that meant either.
I don't know what that means. So if you want to elaborate that on, I can attempt to answer it, but I'm not gonna just say something and be talking my ass to the best of my ability.
This is a book here, right?
Yeah. So this is the video game collector's field guide. This is a big book. Like this is like Switch collector size book. It's huge. It's put together by one of our designers, Tristan Ibarra, who is awesome, a great friend of mine. And
Cost
this book
per unit.
Okay. So briefly, the cost per unit depends on everything in it, depending on how we do things. But I can tell you this: Switch carts are expensive. The smallest Switch cart is $8 from Nintendo. You have to get it from Nintendo. So just the Switch card, a 2 gig card is $8.
2 gig is $8.
Yeah, and for every size up. So the 4 gig is now $9. The 8 gig is now $10. So when you factor in that we have to order 5,000, you can see just how much the carts alone cost.
Yeah,
it's a lot of money. But as for everything else, that all depends on what we do. But that's all something for another time. Like we could talk privately about that. But anyway, about the collector's field guide, it goes over the history of gaming consoles, a bunch of different variants. It's almost complete. I say almost complete. It's a great book, but I always tease Tristan because every time I look at it, I'm like, oh, you forgot this. He's like, damn it, Barry, I need a new version now. Just have fun with him. I'm gonna say it's like 98, 99% complete. Like it's really close, and it's such a good book. He did a phenomenal job.
Here's the steelbook version.
That's the steelbook version.
A robot named Fight.
What you can't. It's hard to see in that image, but the O sleeve actually has a hole cut out where Fight is. So when it has the O sleeve on, you see the steelbook of Fight. So it's like the gloss of Fight coming through and popping out. It looks really good. But yeah, that's out now. That's available. That's on the website and very limited. There was less than 600 put on the website. I think we're like half done already, and we have a few for conventions. So if you catch us at a convention, there's a chance we'll have it. But Robot sold out, so that's why we had to do this extra order because everyone wanted Robot Named Fight, and we kept telling people at conventions, "I'm sorry, we don't have any right now." So yeah, then the ending, which is something I have probably the most fun writing, is the hype button, which we started in Series 3. Always loved the hype button because it was just one of those, how do we surprise people? Like everyone like now knows there's probably gonna be a hype button. It's more like how are we going to incorporate it? So this time was fun because we got to incorporate our editor Dan. If you ever watch Console Wars, the great YouTube channel, he does the editing, and he got to push the button this time, which was awesome because he's done 5 of these directs for us now. So we finally got to interact. and do the hype button. And of course, the hype button is everything that's going live tomorrow at noon Eastern, which is, of course, the first half of Series 5. And the first game is about to show off right here, which is a game called Love 3 from Fred
Oh
Wood.
yes.
Love 3.
I have the first 2 games from him.
Yeah,
was
the
it
first
one
two.
was the second one called Kuso?
Love 2 is Kuso, yeah. You
Yeah,
have both of them? How you like them?
Oh, I really like them. I mean, it's just platforming fun. I mean, if you like platformers, then this is for you.
Well, what's awesome about Love 3, ironically, you could also set your own checkpoints, which I found funny that both They Bleed Pixels and Love 3 have that. But Love 3 actually contains all the levels from Love 1 and 2. So if you've never played Love 1 or 2 and you're like, oh, should I go back? You don't need to. This contains all brand new levels for Love 3 and all the previous levels. So it's a lot of levels to play. So much content. And don't be fooled by the graphics. The graphics are simplistic, but they're like that by design. It's all about the platforming.
Oh yeah, it's really good platforming.
Really, really good. Fred's an awesome guy. And we're so psyched to work with him. He's worked on things like Undertale. So there's a big pedigree following behind him. Okay, I just saw a question from Savitar. Will Premium Edition have a presence at PRGE? We will. We will have 3 of our members there. Jeff was going to be there. We've got Tristan, who I mentioned, is going to be there with his book, the Video Game Collector's Field Guide, as well as one of our distribution teams, Scott, is going to be there. So we will have a table. So please go on by, go hang out, and say, hey, we'll be there. How did you start Premium Edition? Like, what's the backstory? It's an interesting question. I can't say I started it. I'll tell you that in a second.
No one else is
Yeah.
here, Barry. You can go ahead and say that.
No. See, I don't do that because I'm an honest man. So I'm a founding member of Premium Edition. I joined really like right after the conception, before it became public. But it was pretty much like, hey, Jeff's like, hey, can we do Nintendo publishing? Will they allow us? And he applied and we got accepted. So, he said to a mutual friend, Jonathan Poland, said, hey, you want to do this? And they said, yeah. So they started, and we did a show together, a podcast. At the time it was called the Switch Mania Playcast. Now it's just it's a premium playcast. And they said, hey, so here's what we're doing. Do you want to be a part of this too? And I was like, yeah. So we just did it because we love video games and we wanted to do something cool. We just wanted to do physicals the way we want it. We wanted collector's editions the way we want them. And we got to work with awesome developers. So I haven't looked back. 2.5 years. Like you saw at the beginning of the direct, we work with so many amazing developers that we're so thankful to be working with and honored to be working with. So yeah, we're gonna keep going. And then here's the second game. This one's going live tomorrow as well. This is a 2-game-in-1. So you're getting Eagle Island, which is like a Metroidvania, beautiful 16-bit style Metroidvania. And then you're also getting Eagle Island Twist, which it's like a platformer, like a Mario 3 style map, but like the levels are go from like Mario platforming to like Smash Brothers to a bunch of different like races, and it's like all different kinds of interesting challenges each level, and you're getting both games complete on the cart, which is amazing.
Man, I love the pixel art in this game.
Yeah,
it's
so
fantastic.
Beautiful.
This is actually one of those games that we saw this and we said we need to have this, and we're honored because we had talked with Screenwave last year. We had begun talks, and we were able to really hit it off with them, and we're honored about this because it's not just like I was saying before, it's not just a contract for Eagle Island, or it's not just a contract for Love 3, but we entered into a partnership with Screenwave and Retroware, where we're working together. We're a team at this point, and we're honored to be doing the physical versions of some of their titles. And it comes later. We have Justin Silverman in the video, and he from his words, we're planning to do more games together, and I'm so excited about that because they have some really cool stuff that we are very interested in. So, definitely let Screen Wave know, like, oh, let's get a physical of this. Let's get a physical, because we absolutely want to continue working with them.
What I was talking about earlier on, Barry. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
This is what I was talking about. Yeah.
This game, yeah.
With Justin and with Screen Wave, with the.
Yeah, we're so psyched about it, because it's a partnership. It's not just we got a game, cool. It's we got a partnership with them. So
there's a lot to come out of that group, I think.
Yeah, so we're gonna be doing exclusive with them, putting out their titles, working with them, constantly in chat with them, and they saw us at Too Many Games, and they saw the quality of our work, and they saw what we put out, and they were like, oh, you guys put out some really cool stuff. And as we talked, they were like, we want to work with you, and we're like, good, we want to work with you too. So, it's great to just be able to talk about this now and let people, people start messaging like, oh, does this mean you're going to do this, and does this mean you're going to do this? And the answer is hopefully. We're
that's
still
at Jeff too, right? Was it Too Many Games? So he's got a long history with that organization. Of course, that's their big.
That's their show.
In the country. That's their show.
That's their show.
Yeah, excellent.
Yeah, they're located in Pennsylvania, so that's their show. We hung out at their parties. We hung out with them for a while. We've been working with them, just like in the back, trying to work out a deal. And we're so psyched when we're like, oh, we got this. Like we need to get this out. So there's more stuff planned that I can't talk about, but again, it's just awesome. We're so psyched about this, and we figured what a great one more thing to be able to pull this out, and not do one game but do 2 games. Just like what a way to end the direct with 2 big games from them. And of course they've got a lot of games under their belt. We go, Justin Silverman's a legend. He is. Justin Silverman's awesome. And we have a fun thing here because we have the video with them. We're like, oh, I'll do a video. So I love the transition because we got the owl plush from Eagle Island, and the fact that they even took the time to do this video for us, because it took them about 2 weeks of me bugging them like, would you do it? Would you do it? Would you do it? Like the direct is almost done. I think we got the video like maybe a day before the first cut was done. Like it came right down to the wire. I was like, oh, come on, please. It's in the script. Would you do it? You said you would do it. And they've just been so busy. So even the box art you see here, truthfully, even the stuff, I don't know if it's been updated yet on the website, but even the stuff you see on the website is actually subject to change, and it will be changed. Because, like some of the developers, Fred Wood's like, oh, I want this changed literally today, like tonight. Like, oh, so I know Jeff right now, he's working on getting it all fixed on the site. So keep in mind, anything you do see, artwork is always subject to change. But that's just an example of how we're going to do what we can for the developers. They tell us what they want. We're going to try and make that happen. And if we can make it happen, great. And if they want something changed, we're going to do everything we can. And that's another good thing about the pre-order, because they can see reception and people could see what works and what doesn't work. So like Eagle Island Twist, for example, the retro box it's based around Secret of Mana. But the logo on the website is the Secret of Mana logo, like that font, and that's going to be changed to the actual logo, which is what Pixel Nix wants, and that's cool. And it's like, that's what these are all concepts. You tell us, we're going to do concepts, and we're going to try and make it work for you. And I think at this point in the direct, some people were like, is there going to be another thing? Like people were in the comments were like, one more. And I'm like, come on, you're being greedy. Here's what you were talking about, Pete. Here's what you're talking about.
This is the original one, and then all of a sudden you realize what basically season 5 or series 5.
Just series 5.
And it's like, wow, look at that.
It just adds so many. And that's just series 5, and then we're gonna start, with PlayStation stuff, and we've got series 6 is already, worked on. We've got games slotted. We actually have games that like going for over a year. We've got games in development. We're working with developers that are still making the games. Whatever we can do to make their dreams come true, we're gonna try and do it. That's just how we roll at Premium.
Are any PlayStation games coming out this year?
No. PlayStation will be next year, because here's the thing. We go slowly, right? 1, 2, we don't want to overload everybody, which is one of the reasons why Ego Island Twist and Love 3 starts tomorrow, and then They Bleed Pixels and Raji will be most likely next month to space it out. So if we threw PlayStation on top of that, then it'd be like, oh, what do I get? Maybe I can't afford everything, and I got to pick and choose. And we do know we have some full collectors, and we want to make sure that they can pick up every game. So when we have, when we have,
you
we're
becoming
collectors
in your own way. You become your own competition.
Yeah. So when we have PlayStation up, we're not going to have any new Switch. And what I mean by that is, if we have Wonderling in stock and Rainier Parade in stock and Rack and Ruin, it's like we'll have those on the website. You could purchase them.
Yeah.
But we're not going to put up
like
anything else.
This, Barry, if I'm watching for your series every time, which I do watch for your series come out, and
Thank you.
it's like there's a limit to what I could buy. Okay.
Mhm.
So I'm going to go get something, and then maybe right now a Series 4 comes out, let's say, and I ended up buying a Series 3 game instead, right?
Yeah.
But now it's even better because if something PlayStation, I don't want PlayStation, I'm going to take the opportunity. It's the second month or whatever. I'm going to catch up on another one instead of buying a PlayStation. So it's going to let you. I think it's going to be a benefit for your collectors to have that little pause, but still be good for business.
That's exactly it. We try and go slowly for that reason, because there's so many games. We're collectors. We buy games too. We understand.
Yeah.
And I will say PlayStation will also have challenge cards, and I will say PlayStation is going to have a different reward than the patches, but there will be a challenge card as well with PlayStation. So people who enjoy that aspect of our games, absolutely. And of course, these games all have challenge cards. I don't even know the challenges at this point personally, so I couldn't even give you a hint on what they are for these games.
Will that classic series one have a challenge card?
Yes, it will.
Ooh.
Yes, it will.
So basically, every game you put out is going to have a challenge card.
We try, yeah. So that's the goal, because we like that idea. Like, that's part of our identity. No one else does that, and we're really shocked. Like, I expected someone would have copied us by now, but everyone's like, nope, that's Premium's thing. We're gonna let you have it.
Oh, that's cool.
I'll take it. One of the Steelbook Roman good on my second shelf.
Yeah, I would.
You know what? Well, they're available right now. So that's that your wife?
Metal should get on there and order one for him right now.
I know.
You should.
I don't know what she's doing. Will you make a physical release of Go Aquarium Simulator?
Oh, well, we just need to have a discussion.
We'll have to get a game first.
Get a game. You got to show us what you got. That's one thing. Is we will not sign a game unless you can come up with a good. You probably could. I'd love to see what you come up with. But we won't sign a game unless we play it. We'd love it. So every game that's why we do the challenge, right? So many people will buy a game. I'm guilty of this. They'll put it on the shelf, still sealed, and never get around to it. We all do it. There's just not enough time. Audience, mainly collectors or players or fans of the games you publish. Do you only do physical publishing? So let me bring up that thing again so I can answer you correctly. Our audience is all of the above. We have collectors. We have people who buy 2 copies, so they open one to do the challenge and leave one sealed. We have players, because we have a whole bunch of challenge patch hunters who will just they'll get every game, and when they get the game, they go right away for the challenge patch. So we definitely have gamers, and then we have fans. We have fans of, like, they don't get every game, but they're big fans of Robot Named Fight, or they're fans of Cathedral, or maybe they love Yooka-Laylee or Toe Jam and Earl, so they buy Mighty Fight Federation for those characters. So we absolutely get some of all of the above. And as for publishing, right now we've done physical publishing, but we absolutely have been in talks, and we'll have more to announce about digital publishing as well. So, if that's something you're interested, like I said, just send me a DM. We can absolutely have some talks. We're not opposed to anything.
I bought a game called Demon Throttle a while back, and that was weird because it was physical only, no digital. Is that something you guys would ever do?
Probably not. That was Special Reserve. It almost felt like a gimmick. I mean, I bought it too. I think it was like we're selling this on the premise that it's not going to be. And Super Rare tried that too. They tried with what was the game? Heaven. I think it was Heaven something. It was a game that came out. It was physical only from Super Rare Games, and there was a big backlash about it. So they finally put the game on itch. So the I don't. Our idea is we don't want to do things that get backlash. We want to make people happy. So we will if a game already has a digital, then great, then that's fine. We will publish the physical, and again, if it doesn't have a digital, we'll work out something to make sure the game absolutely gets both. Um, we believe in preservation, and we also know that there's people who love digital, even though we're physical collectors. But we strive to make sure all of our physical releases are complete on card, to the best of our ability. That way, the best version that we can get is preserved. I know sometimes that's hard to do, but we try. We've delayed games for that. Oh, you're very welcome, Strange.
Thanks to Barry for coming on and sharing these awesome videos.
Well,
it's fun to hear all the new stuff coming out.
It's a lot. There's a lot since last time, and that's the cool thing. And there's so much more that I would love to just get into because, like, I think as awesome as 2024, or it's just 2020. Listen to me, I'm like sky jumping. 2022 is 2023. I think it's going to be even better. And 2024, I do hope is better, and I hope every year gets better. And that's not to say the games are and aren't going to be as good, because we love all the games. And you mentioned Super Blood Hockey at the start of this, like that was their first release, and we love it. And we love every release we've done, and we hope you do too. And if you're just discovering us, I hope you start your premium collection. And I'm not saying that because we publish it. I'm saying it because these developers are talented. These games are fantastic, and I don't want you to miss out.
It's a different level of enjoying a game when you have a physical copy like this. You can have a digital copy, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But at the end of the day, to have this to look at, to enjoy, the physical versions and all the work that goes into these. I'm trying to remember how to take this one out. I mean,
yeah,
layer after layer, and it's just a fantastic game, right? And then all the extras that you put into it. That I've even still got my envelopes in here where you guys sent the patches.
Oh, there's the patch. See, there you go.
Patches. So you're looking. You guys talk about where's the other one now? So there's my unboxing patch.
Yes, it is.
Right there.
Series 1 unboxing.
And then there is the Deathbringers Challenge patch for Super Hockey.
That patch is the only physical item that we've ever released with our original logo too, because our original logo had no, not that one, the Super Blood Hockey one. That logo had the Switch case in it, and Nintendo was like, you can't use that, that's too close. So we had to take it off of packaging. They wouldn't approve. But the patch, we ordered the patch in advance. So that had already arrived before we got the notification.
That's cool.
So we said, well, we're going to keep it as part of history. So it's the only thing we put out with our original logo.
That's pretty cool. If everybody was wondering, like, asking about manuals earlier on, I'm just trying to get this one out carefully here.
Yeah. While you do that, I see Distracted for Life says, how long does it generally take to make a physical game? That depends. So when we put a game up for pre-order, one of the things we do to the best of our ability, again, as fast as we can, is get lot checks done. What that means, for those that don't know what that is a lot check is, in order to get a game physically, you have to submit the ROM to Nintendo or Sony or Microsoft, and it has to be approved by them. So they're going to take it and they're going to look for bugs, glitches, errors, anything they can find. And if it fails, they will send it back. Here's what we found. And if it passes, that means they found no bugs. And at that point, we could then start submitting physical items for approval. Like the cover has to be approved, the manual has to be approved, the challenge card, the slip cover, the retro box, all of that is approved. So we have to wait for it to pass lot check first. So ideally, we have a game pass lot check before we even put it up for pre-order. After the 30-day pre-order window is when we're going to begin talks with Nintendo to start manufacturing of the cartridge, and then we also start manufacturing of each of the other items. So it usually takes us between 3 and 4 months to get everything back assembled, because then we got to assemble it all, because the manual comes from one place, the challenge card comes from another, the case and the card come from Nintendo. So we get it all assembled, and then once it's assembled, we'll ship it out. We actually cut that down a little bit. We're always trying to cut, but we're not going to ever say like, oh, it's only going to take 2 months kind of deal, because then if 2 months go by, you're like, where's my game? So we would rather surprise you and say it took, like, instead of 4 months, it only took 2 months. Great. But in reality, we figure anywhere from 3, 4, maybe 5 months, depending on the real world. Shipping sometimes screws things up. We had Robot Deluxe on a ship for 5 months because of the whole port thing. That was not fun. Strange. Do you all do the lot check items through email with Nintendo? I believe it's through the developer portal. I don't actually do that. That's Jeff. Jeff handles that, but we do all the lot checks. So a developer has to give us the physical rights, or the digital and physical rights, and at that point we do the submissions. One of the things that we tell developers we do, which not everybody does this, because physical games are expensive. If you were listening earlier, you could do the math. You know how much just the cards are. But one of the things we try and do for the developers is we cover that cost. We cover all the production costs. And we do that because we know some smaller developers can't afford. That's why a lot of them do digital. It's cheap. It's much cheaper to get a digital than the physical. And that's why you see a lot of physicals out there where it's just like the artwork, and inside it's just white and it's just the game card, because it's as cheap as possible that they can get away with. We don't do that. We want to make it a high quality release, but we also want the developers to not say, well, I can't afford to do it. No, we want to take off that burden from them, because the game's great, and a lot of games would never get that physical release otherwise.
You're top of the manuals.
There you go.
The very first one, which is Super Blood Hockey, and beautiful inside. 22 pages.
22 pages.
Yeah, the stuff that comes with it, like there's your challenge card, right?
I love it.
And of course, the instructions for doing the challenge on the back. And this is something else. Even the unboxing. When I got my patches, which one's which? When I got my patches, there's the unboxing patch. It came in an envelope with the card, like the double-sided card. So that's in there. Same thing with the challenge patch, has its own card as well. And then layers of things inside, like the case. Okay, the case, which is good artwork. And I've always said this before.
Love it.
Find the hidden little guy behind the cartridge. It's all
getting crushed.
It's dead. And then you got that case, so it goes into the slipcover case, which goes into this case, which goes into has the comic that goes with it, and then into the larger box, which is different artwork again.
Yep.
So
yeah, that's something we do. Always different artwork, as much as we can get away. I mean, if we really run out, we'll have to repeat, but we really do our best to not repeat any artwork. I see that comment from you, Distracted for Life. I'm not going to answer that question because I love them both equally. So you're not gonna get a war going on here. You're not going to stir any pot. I value every friendship I have.
Jeff and I are pretty laid back. It would be pretty difficult to start a war with the two. I like Jeff better. Okay, I don't care. I don't blame you.
I took a shot.
I do too.
I always like those questions where people just taking a shot to see what happens. So, Bear, how many games do you think are coming out this year from you guys compared to, say, like your first year? I'm just curious as to how many.
2020, we had 2 games go up for pre-order, but no games actually shipped, which was Super Blood Hockey and Pigeon Dev Series 1. But the games didn't ship until the next year. So 2021, we put up 5 games, which was Demon's Tier, Robot, Phenotopia, Mighty Fight, and Cathedral. And of those 5, we had shipped 4 games, which was Series 1 and Series 2. So Super Blood Hockey, Pigeon Dev, Robot, and Demon's Tier. Now this year, we've put up, counting next month, a total of 7. So we've got all of Series 4, Wonderling. Well, yeah, Wonderling, actually 8. Wonderling, Rain Your Parade, and Rack and Ruin, plus Ore Body on NES. And then we have Love 3, Eagle Island Twist, Raji, and Beyblade Pixels coming up. As for shipping, we shipped all of Series 3, Cathedral, Mighty Fight, and Phoenotopia shipped. We're hoping, the idea is to have Series 4 shipped, or at least Wonderling and Rain Your Parade shipped, because Rack and Ruin was ordered separately. So that one might be delayed until the next year. And Ore Body, we're going to have shipped. So we're going to have, we should have at least 6, maybe 7 games shipped this year as well. So it's slowly going up, but we're not like going to the stratosphere. We're going to where we're going to hit our plateau and where we're going to really settle in at this point, because we're trying not to overload everybody. But we also work full-time jobs, so we can only do so much, and we have to wait for the plants. You know, once things are ordered, you know, if Nintendo says it's going to take a month or month and a half or whatever to get the cards, we're still doing other things, but we have no choice but to wait that time.
I missed one. Also, the
Yeah.
Super Blood Hockey original soundtrack with its own unique graphics.
Yeah, more artwork.
What's cool is that soundtrack was done by a guy named Sean Daly, and he's a comic book artist. So he also drew the art for that CD soundtrack. He also drew the comic that's in there, and he also drew the retail case art. So that's Sean Daly's art.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
this
he
is the retail case, you mean, right?
No. That was done by one of our own designers. The actual retail case of the game, not the slipcover, but the retail case. That one was done by Sean Daly as well. So we tried to incorporate, hey, the composer is also a comic book artist. let's see if he's interested in doing some more art for the game, and he was absolutely cool to work with. In fact, we are working with him again with Rack and Ruin. He's doing a comic for Rack and Ruin for the retro, which is coming along really nicely. So we're happy to be working with him again.
I think comics for the video games are an awesome idea.
Yeah, and that goes along with what I was saying about our relationships. It's not just a contract for one game. We will work again. Like that slipcover for Blood Hockey was done by Paul E. Niemeyer, who did a bunch of ours. He did Pigeon Dev, he did Robot Named Fight, he did Demon's Tier, he did Cathedral, and he did Rack and Ruin. So we're always not that one. The slipcover. That cover is actually done by Nick Huddleston, awesome artist who's also working with us again. He's doing the slipcover for Eagle Island Twist. And I think there's one other thing for us. So I'm thinking. I know he did Rain in Your Parade retro box, I believe, is what he also did.
Oh, okay. I love that Rain in Your Parade. I do not have that one coming up, but that's been on my site.
That one's cool. That one, I love that artwork. You know,
of course, you have to have the game guide.
Yeah, it's from Phil Sommers from Hand Drawn Game Guides. We're so happy to be able to work with him for that.
Then
that's Paul E. Niemeyer's artwork there.
Yes. That one.
And that's Series 3 started. Oh, yeah. Series 3 started with our higher quality slipcovers, manuals, and the sleeves. They're actually higher quality than Series 1, and you could really see it with the slipcover because it's a hard card stock.
Yes.
Like you can.
You're talking this right here. This right here. This feels different than the Super Blood Hockey.
Yep. And then the outside slipcover is even thicker.
Oh,
and it's so much. And we're doing that. We're always trying to raise the bar. Strange, I see another question. Do you guys have distributors or do you just distribute them yourselves online? We do both. So we distribute our games online through our own website, premiumeditiongames.com. We also have a bunch of distribution partners, from big ones like Bazaar over in Europe and Video Games Plus in Canada, as well as a lot of smaller mom and pop stores that do carry our games as well. So we're all out there in many different facets, plus conventions. We have a street team that does conventions pretty much every weekend, so all across the United States. So we're meeting people face to face. In fact, I'm going to a convention this weekend. I'm going to Retro Game Con, which is up in Syracuse, New York. where we'll be at a table. So if you're listening to this and you're going to that show, please come by and say hi. But we love to just get in front of the customers and the gamers, and just so many people have never heard of us. And it's like, check out these games, and lots of positive coming back. Our stamp.
And coming soon, we'll be having another unboxing.
Oh, you haven't even opened that one yet. I don't even know what's in that. I'm guessing, let's see. It's Mighty Fight or Phoenotopia? I guess Phoenotopia Awakening is my guess.
You're pretty good. You're pretty good.
Such a great game. See, Phoenotopia is one of those stories that's like our go-to feel-good story of premium, because of everything we've done that we love to do. We love to talk, with everybody. But Phoenotopia was a developer that flat out said, "You don't want our game." They're like, "No, you don't want our game." We're like, "What do you mean you don't?" Like, two other publishers said, "We don't. The digital sales aren't good enough. You don't want our game." We're like, "We don't care about the digital sales. We want your game because it's awesome." And we put it out, and he took over everything. He made his dream game, and it became our number one seller. Phoenotopia Awakening is our number one selling game. We're ordering more copies. We can't keep it in stock.
Wow.
Everyone loves that game. It is beautiful and is so much fun. And he's overjoyed. He got his copy in. He's like, "This blew my mind. This is so much better than I ever expected." And that warmed our hearts, because here he was telling us, "You don't want the game," and now he's so overjoyed with how it came out. And now he's getting all this reception.
That's a great example of a game that you'll just keep on selling as long as you got people wanting it.
Yeah. No, that's a game. Like I said, all of our games are non-limited. We might be out of stock. If there's enough demand, we will order more if we're able to, because all of our contracts have a 2-year agreement, and we have to extend. So if it's past the 2-year mark,
it's not a guarantee.
It's
still possible, right?
It's always possible, but it's not a guarantee. We do that 2 years so that we don't have cases where someone else, like, we'll say we release Cathedral, and then someone else says, "Oh, I want to release Cathedral immediately." Then you're like, "Well, it's market confusion. We don't want that market confusion."
Well,
but we could always re-up a contract too.
I want to, since you sort of brought that up, I'm going to ask you, because it's coming out. Cathedral is coming out on the Evercade.
Yes, it is.
So when I first saw that announcement, I thought it sort of struck me strange. And I don't know if it's good, bad, ugly, or if it's something that you're totally indifferent about.
Look, we had a contract with them. We still have a contract with them. We're still under contract, but the contract is only for the Switch.
Okay.
So that's why Red Art Games did the PlayStation 4 version. We reached out. We when we signed Cathedral, we weren't doing PlayStation 4. Right. When we said we're going to do PlayStation, we reached out to them, and they said, "Well, Red Art already has the contract." So Red Art did it. I bought it myself. I support them. I love them, and will always support them. And I'm happy for them. And they're going to the Evercade. That's fantastic. The Evercade's a whole different. We don't publish on the Evercade. I have the Evercade set myself. I love what they're doing over there, and I'm so happy for them, because now more people are getting to experience the game. Again, we don't look at everybody else as competition or anything like that, and we absolutely don't want to hold a publisher back unless we, if we have a contract already, then it's like just a Switch contract, then you can't do it again for Switch. But we will not say you can't go to another system if they choose to. We hope they would come to us. Like the Evercade we can't do, but like the PS4, we would hope they would want to go with us. But again,
just didn't work out that way at the time. That was timing.
That was unfortunate timing. But like the Evercade, we're more than happy.
Oh, right. I'm glad to hear that it's the way it sort of it is. I sort of thought maybe that you was sort of indifferent to it because of being the certain system, but I wasn't really sure, because I thought it may be or may not be. But at the end of the day, I'm going to tell you, I'm going to end up having both.
I'm going to have all three.
There you go. There you go.
I love what they did with Cathedral. Cathedral was my indie game of the year last year. It was so much fun, and we were so thrilled to be able to publish that game and work with them. They're wonderful people. We will, as we get lower in stock in Cathedral, we will pretty much guarantee to order more of it, because it is a we want more people to experience that game. And we hope that at the end of the contract, they want to re-up it for more reprints, and they're happy with us. And we absolutely would love to work, with them again, should they choose. Again, it's all up to them. We're always open.
I just wanted to ask you about that because it
Yeah.
crossed my mind from the first second I saw that announcement from Blaze that Cathedral was coming for the Evergate. And it just struck me a little. I didn't know exactly how that would work.
Well, some of our games are on the platforms like Awesome P 1 and 2 are on the PlayStation 4 via Red Art Games, and they're also on the Vita via PlayAsia in the East,
Okay.
the Play exclusives. But we have the Switch version. No hard feelings. We're all
Yep.
cool. It's like, hey, more people get to experience that awesome platformer. It's then the Cathedrals. I think the only other example. I don't think any of the others have had a physical on another platform that we've put out thus far. Yeah, I don't think so. So it's just really those two. But if a developer says, "Oh, I already have a contract with another," then cool. You do you. We look at everybody as not competition, but as friendlies. Like we're all doing cool things. We're all getting games out there. We're all keeping physical media alive, and we're all champions of it. So I'm just happy for the developers. Like they're the rock stars.
Yep.
They're the big ones.
So Barry, do you have is 2023 booked already for you guys? Are you still working on some?
2023 is filling up. I'm not going to say it's booked because we have games signed that are ready, and we have games signed that are still in development. So we're still piecing out how we're what game is going to go where. We have some ideas, but we've learned not to count on those ideas because things can change. Again, we need the lot check to pass first and foremost. Second off, we need the games to be done. Sometimes games will get a DLC and we'll have to sit there and wait. The games that are in development, because we'll sign games early. If we play a demo and we said this game's amazing, we'll sign it. There might be a development delay and say, hey, I can't make the deadline. It's that happens. That happens with AAA titles. Fine. We don't rush developers. We would rather them say, hey, we can't make the 2023 date. We could get it out in 2024, but it's going to be kick ass, or we could rush it in 2023. Push it to 2024. We'll find a slot. This way we release a kick-ass game and we have it preserved that way. So we're always looking, even if we're full. And we've told, like for 2022, we've had meetings with developers. And just because we're full in 2022 doesn't mean we're not still meeting with developers right now. We tell them, 2022 is full. Like we'll sign you, but 2023. And some people say, I want my game out immediately. And we say, then good luck, because we can't accommodate that because we're not chugging out 4 games, 5 games a week. We're doing 4 games over 2 months, and the last game we put out, which was Rack and Ruin, was in the summer. So we go slowly. We want to go slowly, and we'll always accept anything. And sometimes we get a game that's awesome, but there may not be enough meat on the bone. Like this is a great game, but it's a 2-hour experience or an hour and a half experience, and it sucks to say like your game's awesome, but it would be too hard to do a physical with us taking in all the costs, and it's like we love your game, but it's just it's hard. It'd be like let's do a game of solitaire, for example, and put a physical on it and spend grands and grands of dollars on the game of solitaire. I'm not going to release that physically. That game doesn't warrant it, and it's unfortunately like that. Like there was the calculator. People were joking when the calculator came on Switch. Do calculator. And it's like, you want to spend $100,000 on a calculator game? Like there's no return on investment there. Like we don't have that kind of money just to blow.
Right. That's right.
So unfortunately, there are those cases, and sometimes we get games where we could bundle them, like Pigeon Dev Games Collection. Where we say, hey, these are smaller titles, and we can put them together to make more bang for your buck. So,
and I suppose that's part of the strategy of starting out as well, is find some of these smaller games that are sort of at the lower threshold there, so you can get the stability built in, the income coming in, because obviously when you're starting, it's very difficult. Right? Before you have anything else. Oh, there you go.
That's hilarious. Distracted for Life. Have I ever released? Yes, we did. Our second game is Pigeon Dev Games Collection, which contains 4 games: Awesome P1 and 2, Bucket Knight, and Explosive Jake, all from Pigeon Dev. We're looking like that was one of our, since it was an early game, we realized at that point that we should have named it differently. Just a fun anecdote, because a lot of people don't have no idea who Pigeon Dev is. So if we could go back, we would have named it the Awesome P Collection with 2 bonus games. because more people know Awesome P. So we're not opposed to doing that. We just have to market it properly. We like, Eagle Island, you get Eagle Island Twist and Eagle Island together. So definitely love compilations when there's multiple games. We have some games coming up. Well, Sunshine, like we did the Kickstarter, we're just still importing for Sunshine Anthology, which is Camp Sunshine and Sunshine Manor, both games on card. So, especially when there's a series, if we could do them all, we would. Like Love 1 and 2, I believe, are actually on the Switch. And
Yep.
if Love 1 and 2's levels weren't in Love 3, we would have done a Love compilation with all three. But because Love 1 and 2's levels are already in 3, that would be defeating the purpose. It would be redundant. So you're getting that all anyways. But yeah, if we can do a complete collection, anything like that, and we do have some more compilations of games coming next year and the year after. Can't talk about now. But yes, we absolutely are for that, especially when they're of the same series, because then you're just getting more bang for your buck. And saving shelf room.
That's true.
All about the shelf room.
Would it be possible to, like you said, say there's a 2-hour game you guys love, but you're not going to put that up by itself. Could you do a compilation from different developers on one cart, or is that too difficult?
That creates its own problem, because whenever we, sign a game, a portion of the physical goes to the developer, or it goes to the digital publisher, who then gives money to the developer. So and the Switch has a limit of 4 applications on a card, which is why Pigeon Dev is 4 games. So when you pop the card in and 4 different icons appear, that's the maximum the Switch cards can do. So unless you have like a special UI, like the Mega Man Legacy Collection, for example, where they take the 6 NES games and they put it into a UI, so it's one application that boots into the other 6, then you could do whatever you want. That's how our classic collection is. But otherwise, it's 4 is the maximum. So if you did that with 4 different developers, they would have to split it by 4 different developers plus the digital publisher. That then creates stickiness, and then all the developers say, well, my game isn't represented as much, or I want it this way, and the politics make it not worth the effort at that point, unfortunately. Right. And the value, it's too many cooks in the kitchen, as they say.
Pretty hard to make everybody equally happy.
Exactly. So we find it easier, if there's a compilation, if they're all the same developer, like Pigeon Dev, that's great. If they're all the same series, they're most likely by the same developer. That makes it, again, easy. It's all about theming, marketing as well. So when it's the same series, like Sunshine Anthology, we're doing that slipcover like a old school horror VHS, like the double feature VHS, horror movies with both games, and it's like split down the middle with both games, like things like that. We're gonna have fun with. But that created problems when we did Pigeon Dev, and I think we did an amazing job with Pigeon Dev, since 2 of the games aren't part of Awesome P, and we had to figure out how do we market this. There, you have Bomberman, you got a platformer, and then you got 2 tough as nails platformers. They're all different style, and how do we do it? And we did it, but we definitely saw the message where people were like, oh, I don't even know what this is. I don't know who Pigeon Dev is, what games are on here. And we realized it was confusing. A great compilation. Absolutely love it. Love the games on it. Pigeon Dev is a wonderful developer. But that was one of the things, growing pains. These are things you don't think about. And it's like, oh, the general populace. Now, if it was like Konami or Capcom, those are different ball games. Those names.
Yeah.
But when it's somebody you never heard of before, it doesn't entice them to say, well, I should try these, So we try and be different about it now, like trying to make it fair and marketable and more enticing, even if it's the same games on it.
All right, I'm gonna be back in 2 minutes, Pete. I wish I had your dancing girl little video to put on. I'll be right back. Maybe you can dance, Pete.
No, I won't do that.
Oh, you're not going to dance, okay. Pete. You're but not going to.
Okay. I'm going to ask you this now. Like, you're partnering with I'll ask you about Screenwave Media again, just because I know the guys and I know a lot of the things they've done. They're basically YouTube based, and I think game publishing itself, if I'm not mistaken, is kind of new to them, is it not?
Yeah, it's a newer thing for them.
Development,
And
maybe not so.
what? Development? Oh,
Development, like for making the games, or
I don't think they develop. I think they just publish.
oh, okay.
Because all the Love 3 is with Fred Wood, and Pixel Nix did Eagle Island Twist. So
Okay.
there's
Okay.
different
True.
developers.
True.
So I think they just do digital publishing, but they really want to get their games out physically. So they
Oh, I
needed a
see.
partner.
And the reason I'm asking is this is the one physical game that I know they did, and maybe the only one they've ever done because I think it's the only one on their website.
Yes.
But that's a great release. If there could be, I don't know. I mean, it's done now, I suppose, so it wouldn't be something you would go to. But of course, it's very well known.
Yeah, that is. I mean, we have that too. We've talked about that release, and we obviously it's already been done. So we thought about possible things to go along with that release or
Hmm.
other things in the future. Talks have happened. Nothing is signed. Nothing is confirmed. But we've thought about every one of their releases that they do have, and we looked them all over, and we've been in discussions, and we're still in discussions.
Yeah.
So we
Yeah.
hope a lot of good things come from this, and our
Well,
goal is for them to look at Series 5 and say we had such an amazing job with, because even though we have a
yeah.
partnership, it's not like set in stone. It's 100%. It's all verbal. So we want them to say
Yeah.
Love 3 and Eagle Island Twist came out better than we expected. We really had a good experience working with you. Let's do more, and that's really what we both set in to do, and that's
Yeah.
our job as
That's
premium,
awesome.
is to make them happy so that they
Yeah.
want to continue.
For the anyway, I slid up there really quick, but that's the AVGN games that I
Yep.
got from just straight from Screenwave. I think that's the only place you could get it, and it was months and months and months in development, which was natural. It was fine, but
Oh yeah, I got it right from them too. I think it went up last year. They got too many games. They were talking about it, and it was in
okay,
October. So I think it went up probably around October, November last year. I could be wrong, but I
yeah, no,
immediately went to Screenwave.
it was November. It went up
November.
in November, and then I think I got mine in July or something like that.
Yeah, I immediately went. I said, I'm supporting you, Screenwave. I said,
Yeah,
look, I got my pre-order in.
yeah, right on. Yeah, I did too, right off the get go. Another thing that you were talking about shipping, and I know there's a lot of people, few people on here, at least in Canada, like I am, that
Yep.
I'm lucky enough to live on both sides of this. One thing about the shipping and stuff, I buy my stuff right from you, and I've had it shipped right to here, and it's
Yeah.
not significantly more. It's a little bit more, of course, and it certainly does take longer to come across, but especially during the pandemic, it was a great option. I've had my
Well,
game shipped right to me.
we did a lot to lower our shipping. So when we came out and we started shipping, especially foreign shipping was very expensive. We were learning it. We figured out some new ways. We had a shipping warehouse and a shipping partner that wasn't the best, and
Yeah.
we shipped we changed warehouses for Series 3 onwards, and now we do it ourselves. Our warehouses ourselves. So we do that, and we take care of it. And we found ways to make the shipping cheaper,
Yeah.
and we try and do that. And that's why we do the dog tags now as a pre-order bonus on our webpage. You get the pre-order dog tags, but that doesn't mean that you have to buy from us. We absolutely
No, understood.
love our partnerships. I talk with Video Games
Yeah.
Plus all the time.
Okay.
I talked with them even today, and they're excited, and they'll have the games up, and
Excellent. I'm
yeah,
glad to hear that because I buy stuff from Video Games Plus quite often. But I do know that I was talking one of these episodes that I was on with you guys, and Jeffrey was here. There was some, or I don't know. I was thinking maybe it wasn't going to happen anymore. I think the first one I bought Super Blood Hockey from Video Games Plus. I don't
yeah.
know.
Series 3, Series 3 didn't carry. There was an
That was
incident.
why.
There was something that happened. They couldn't carry it, and
Right on.
but we made sure. And people asked, like, what about VGP? What about VGP?
Yeah.
And I had a long talk with Sydney, and we worked things out, and to make
Good.
sure everything would work for Series 4 and 5, and very, very happy about that. And it made a lot of people happy, and made us happy.
No, that's perfect.
Oh yeah, we want everybody. Like I said, we want everybody to get the games that they want the games. We want them to
Yeah.
be able to buy them,
Yeah.
because this
Time's a factor. The only problem is time. Like to buy from the States to have shipped, it's going to take 3 to 4 weeks to get it. Whereas if I order from Video Games Plus, I have it in two or 3 days.
That's because by the they shipping Canada to Canada, you don't have to customs. They had to wait at that point because we had to ship it to them, so they had to go through customs to get there. I hate that. That's just the world, even in the States, ordering anything overseas, it takes that much longer to go through customs.
But
yeah, yeah, we have people say like, oh, it's shipped and we went to customs and it's been like 2 weeks and it hasn't moved. I want other ones, and we're like, it's still in customs. Like sometimes it takes a month or longer even to go through customs. Like email, if it hasn't come in 3 months, then we'll talk. But unfortunately, we can't send out a game if it's been in customs 2 weeks because it's still in customs. Talk to your country.
What was the record box I sent to you that time, Jeff? I sent one that was 39 days. Wasn't it getting to you?
Yes. Wow. Didn't you send something to someone else at the same time? And
I actually, that was the first thing I sent to you. It was like a sat. It was 39 days getting to you. And then another time I sent stuff to 2 to St. Louis, 1 to Washington, and 1 to LA, to Lance. And here I am in the exact opposite. I'm 6 hours north of Boston, right? So the one that got there the first was to LA. And then the next day, the one got to Washington. And then it was about 4 or 5 days later before they arrived in St. Louis.
We get everything. Like I've told you this before. When I order my Evercade stuff from Funstock, I see people online here in the States or in Canada, they've got it, and a month later I'll get it. I'm like, why does it take so long for me to get this?
Yeah, it takes a while.
Quick. Right now, it's coming from the States into Canada for whatever reason is ridiculously slow.
Hey,
I had a package come from China, and it arrived, and it wound up noticing after, God, it took about 2.5, 3 weeks. I noticed it said out for delivery. I was like, oh, right, finally.
Yeah.
And then nothing came, and the mail had already come. I'm like, what? And then it said available for pickup. And this was on a Saturday. I was like, son of a, why was it not delivered? So Monday morning, I go over there and I say, hey, I want my package. And they're like, what package? And I give the number and they say, it's not here. I'm like, what do you mean it's not here? It says available for pickup. They're like, it's not here. It must be on the carrier. I said, but it says available for pickup. They said, I'm sorry, sir. And it wound up getting delivered that day. But I'm like, but it never updated to out for delivery. It just still said awaiting for, available for pickup. And I'm like, what the heck? Was this just not scanned? Why did they, what? I don't even know what's going on.
It's kind of weird because those things happen all the time, right? It's like, it's frustrating when they do, but it's still a lot better than what we used to deal with 15, 20 years ago. I mean, now you think about that on your phone, you order something on eBay, and 5 minutes later, you're getting it tracked on your phone of when it's going to arrive, right? That's crazy.
Some of them are even crazy. Like Amazon will tell you, like, your package is 10 stops away and you can watch your truck.
Yes.
Like,
wow.
And then they take a picture when it's delivered at your door, and I'm like, oh, this is pretty cool.
They do that here. I mean, even up here, they've gone from the Amazon Prime was within a week, and now Amazon Prime is actually within a couple of days up here. Even
that's great.
Yeah, a few days ago we ordered something. We ordered something like around 4 PM, and we got it that day.
Oh my God!
I'm like, how was that even possible? I guess Amazon works with different stores in town, and if they have it right there, they can.
I've done that at Best Buy. Best Buy here uses Roadie. So sometimes if you order from bestbuy.com and it's like at a local store, they'll just have Roadie pick it up at the local store and bring it to you that day. Same with GameStop will do that sometimes too.
Wow.
I'm like, oh, that's awesome.
I love it.
So Barry, is there anything you're playing right now that you're loving?
Right now I'm playing a game called Legend of Heroes Trails from Zero, which is part of the long-running Legend of Heroes series. Probably the biggest world-building RPG series out there in just scope. Yeah, there you go. There you go.
I'll do my best Papa Pete impression.
Yeah. I don't know if you've played any of them or not.
No, I have not.
See, so I did the Cold Steel games, all 4 of them. This takes place at the same time as Cold Steel 1. They just take place in different countries. So
when I see Falcom or NIS, that's usually a sign.
Falcom makes them all. They're really great RPGs. But again, it's an RPG series where the world is a character itself. The towns are characters, and each game takes place at a different period, and like I said, that one overlaps with Cold Steel 1, and the sequel, Trails from Azure, which comes out in America next year, takes place at the same time as Cold Steel 2. And it's really cool because if you play one and then play the other, there's little nuances you hear, like, oh, I heard this is going on over there, and it's like referencing something from one game, and you'll see characters that go between. And then Cold Steel 3 and Cold Steel 4 take place several years later, and Cold Steel 4 is actually like Avengers Endgame, where you get the characters from the Sky series, which comes before that, the Crossbell duology, which is Zero and Azure, as well as Cold Steel 1, 2, and 3. And you see them all come together, and it's like an Avengers assemble moment where all these characters that you experience in all these other games, you see them all like growing up now, and they're all working together, and it's really well done.
Wow.
I can't sing enough praises about the series. If you like, but I mean, and I'll be honest, Trails of Zero is a slower RPG than Trails of Azure, because this is the setup and the second half is the punchline. So like if you play Cold Steel 1, you might say, well, this is kind of a slower RPG because it's world building. You're learning the towns, you're learning the layout, you're learning the people. And then Cold Steel 2 is immediately a follow-up that, all right, now you know everything, now we're going to, hit you, and the shoe is going to drop. And the same with Cold Steel 3 and 4, and the same with Trails from Sky 1. If you play that, it's a slower building, and then the SC and FC, they just hit you. So it's really cool the way they do that. Like as long as you get past that first chapter world building, just know like, oh, this is kind of slow. I'm doing medium, but it's also one where you can play it as quickly or as slowly as you want to, because they give you and Cold Steel's like this too. They'll give you like, in this chapter, here are some quests. This one quest you need to do. This is your story quest. Here's 4 or 5 side quests. You could ignore the side quests and you could just do the main quest and continue the story. Or you could do the world building and do all those side quests and learn those characters and get more of that, character building. So you really play the way you want to, and you get graded based on how you do it too, which is kind of interesting.
Oh, that's really cool. Yeah, I haven't even opened it up yet.
Oh yeah, it's big. I mean, you're talking 40, 50 hour RPG, unless you do it quicker. What's interesting about the Switch version of that game is not only are there improvements, but there's also a high speed mode.
Deluxe.
Yeah, well, deluxe, yeah, but that one, the PS4 version doesn't have it, but the Switch has a high speed mode. So you hit LT, and the game runs at like double speed, so you could run that much quicker, you could battle that much quicker. Just to help speed things up, and then you could turn it off instantly, like if it's, oh, this is a slower moment, I want to take the time to digest what's going on. But yeah, there's a big following for that. It's well worth diving into.
Yeah, I haven't opened up. I'm in Splatoon 3 land right now. So.
Hey, nice.
Oh my gosh.
How are you enjoying that?
I was laughing because the Switch has a thing where you can go and view your games you've played by time played. Yeah. And Splatoon 3 is already number 4 on my list.
Oh my God, that's awesome.
Which is great. It's only been out for a month.
That means you're enjoying the hell out of it.
Oh yeah.
That's what matters. You get to play the same game for a year. If you're enjoying the hell out of it, who cares?
I know.
I'm playing PBA bowling on the Intellivision.
There you go.
Oh, I'll be playing that later, Pete. We do a challenge, an Intellivision challenge, Barry, every week, and bowling's the one right now. And I've only played it a little bit, and that game's hard. I mean, I'm used to Atari bowling, which was very simple, and television bowling is not as simple. So I'm going to suffer on this one, I think.
Pete's going to beat you then.
I think so.
I think Chuck's going to beat both of us.
Oh, yeah. That's his game.
Well, that's interesting to go back and see how, the older games and how they come about. And, it's always fun, even though it makes you appreciate what you have now, though, too.
It's always fun to go back and play an old game and find out that, hey, this game's actually still fun.
Yes. Oh, yes. There's a lot of games like that. And there's a lot of games that you take the nostalgia glasses off and you're like, how did I ever enjoy this? Oh, God. Who made this again? Oh, LJN. Oh, no.
I don't think I ever played a single LJN game.
Oh, consider yourself lucky.
Yeah, I know.
I
Although
can't
I
say that.
feel like I have after watching Angry Video Game Nerd and all of his LJN videos.
One of my biggest things was a kid finally getting Uncanny X-Men, which no internet back then, so I just read about it in a book. I'm like, there's an X-Men game on the Nintendo, and I finally found it. I was so happy, big into X-Men. And then I played it, and I was like, this game sucks. And of course, it's made by LJN. I'm like, oh, why does this game suck so badly? Oh, man, this is not. And at this point, the Genesis version was out, so I was expecting the Genesis X-Men, and I was like, oh, this is terrible.
It would be cool to see an interview with people that worked for LJN during their heyday and ask them what the heck was going on there at that time.
However cheaply they can get stuff out is pretty much it.
I know, they were just banging stuff out as fast as possible.
I think baseball was the biggest one that like everyone played, MLB baseball, because it was the first one with the license. So, I was like, oh yeah, we finally can, not even realizing it was LJN. It was just, hey, we can play baseball. Like, that's so cool with the MLB license. Now it's like looking at it, and it's like, oh, that's terrible. How did we survive?
Yeah, my son was asking me earlier this week a question about we're talking about something we looked up online, and he goes, "What did you do before, like Google and the internet? How'd you find stuff out?" And I was like,
how did we?
I don't know. I don't know how we did it.
Yeah,
the library used a Dewey Decimal System.
Encyclopedias.
Yeah, the library.
We had magazines for games.
I do remember going to the library and checking out magazines, searching for certain subjects and finding in the magazines and reading about reading it that way.
The truth is when games came out, if you were looking for games, you went to Toys R Us and you looked at the cards the flip cards that had the boxes on it, and you bought a game based on the box art and what the back of the box says, and you went home and you hoped to God it was good, and then you went to a friend's house and they had different games than you, so you played their games. And that's how you experienced more games. You traded at school, and that's it. And if you I learned about games in our library. We had those books tips on how to beat Nintendo games, and it was no pictures, it was just listing stuff. And I would flip through that just to look at game titles to see what existed. Oh, there's one of these games, and I would go to Funkoland trying to find it. That's why when I saw the X-Men, I was like, what, there's an X-Men? No idea. I was just like, there's an X-Men, I don't care, I wanted to get it. And that's how we did it. That's why some of these games, you look at games like Little Samson and Fire and Ice, and why are these games so valuable? Because they had a low print run because they weren't advertised. They got one print, and if you happen to find it, you found it. If not, you had no idea it even existed.
Right.
Now there's Switch games most people don't even know exist just because there's so many games out there.
And I'm someone that's checking all the time on games, and I still will run into a game that I've just never heard of. I'm like, how is this even possible? I mean, I'm always checking. I'm always on here, but still, several games just slip by me all the time.
Oh, especially if you go foreign. If you just do American games or North American games, you have one whole list. But then if you look at European games with English that weren't released here, or Asian games with English, or Japanese games with English, or Korean games with English that were never released here, there's a whole new genre and new avenue of collecting in terms of getting a game playable with that was never released here.
Yeah, I got the physical version of Klonoa.
Yeah, it was one that was in my head.
Japanese, and it's in English, so
cool. I got the European. I found myself going European over Asian if there is, specifically for PlayStation 4, because if you have a PS4, they're region free too. But in Asia, their button, they press zero, the circle button as accept, and the X button as no. Much like the Switch is, if you think about it, the right button is accept and the bottom button is no. But on an American PlayStation, we hit the X for accept and the zero button for no. So if you buy an Asian English game on PlayStation and put it in, that is one thing you have to get used to, because you can't change it. So you will constantly be hitting yes when you mean no, and no when you mean yes. So if there's a choice like Klonoa, I did the PlayStation version as well. but I did the European version where they do like we do the X and O, like as we say properly.
Yeah, it's like switching back and forth between say Xbox and Switch or PlayStation and Switch.
Yeah,
Those
it's like that.
Buttons are all mixed up, and it drives me crazy.
But it's even more weird when you're on the PlayStation and those buttons are weird because you're used to PlayStation being a certain way.
Yeah.
And I experienced that. I did the Devil May Cry marathon, like I did all of them. And Devil May Cry 4 Special Edition, for whatever reason, was never released over here. It was only digital. The only physical that exists for it on PlayStation is the Asian English one. Oh, for the special edition, you can get like the 360 and the PS3 ones. But if you want that special edition to go play on the PS4, PS5, it's Asian English only. And the game is in English and it plays beautifully and it looks great. And all the buttons work except the menu back and forth. You got to get used to it. And it was so jarring to go from what I'm used to that. And by the time I finally got used to it, I beat it. And then I went into Devil May Cry 5, which again goes back to what I'm used to with American. So it was jarring the other way. I was like, oh no.
That's pretty wild. I never would have thought of that in a million years. I guess you didn't either until you experienced it.
I didn't either until I experienced it. Now I looked at all my like Asian English PS4 games and I'm like, oh, you're all landmines, all of you.
Oh, wow.
You know, I mean, it's not a huge deal, but it is something to realize. But the Switch, you won't have that problem with a Switch game at all, like because it's the same way everywhere. But it's one of those little nuances of collecting that you don't even realize until you experience it yourself.
I also like, there's a weird thing, it's not on this game, but the Asian Switch games, like on these here, where it dents in, so you can pull it apart, it's like a 90-degree angle, like right here and right here.
Yeah.
And the Asian ones, it's like a slide. It dips down and comes back up.
Yeah,
and I don't know why, but every Japanese game I have is like that, and every North American game I have is like this. I don't know why they have two different boxes. It's very strange.
I couldn't answer that question. I don't know because I can't.
Barry, you're supposed to know.
I don't know. I do know that European games have that wonderful pull tab that I absolutely love to open. So if you never experienced that, yeah, if you have a European game, the wrap has a pull, and you can just pull it and pop it right out. It's so nice and easy.
Ooh, that's nice.
But only European games have that in all systems. It's so cool.
Heracle's here. Heracle, we were just talking about you, wondering where you were at. We haven't seen you in a while. Thanks for stopping by. So Barry, we're up here at the end. So tell us again, what is going up for pre-order tomorrow?
Sure. So tomorrow at premiumeditiongames.com, we have Love 3 and we have Eagle Island Twist are both going up for pre-order at noon Eastern. That's the standard and the retro edition. We also have the steelbook version of A Robot Named Fight that's up right now. We've got Tristan's book, which is the Video Game Collector Field Guide, is up right now. We have the Kickstarter that's going on right now for Switch Collector Volume 2 Part 2 Abridged is available right now. And then next month we're looking at Raji, Ancient Epic Enhanced Edition, and They Bleed Pixels. Those will be going up. We have Series 4 in production that will be shipping soon. We still have some Series 3 titles and Pigeon Dev on the website, so check those games out. They are in hand. If you do order an in-hand game with a pre-order, you have to wait until the pre-order is in, so order them separately if you're impatient. And you can find all that information at premiumeditiongames.com. At the very bottom, you could also sign up for a newsletter because we have a lot of exciting things coming, so you don't want to miss out on that. We have our socials. We're at Premium Edition Games everywhere except Twitter. We're at Premium Edition 1 on Twitter. And for me, you could find me on Twitter at Hawk Hellfire. I'm always available to talk about video games, so send me a DM, follow, say hi. Let's say, hey, I saw you on Go Game Go, and that'd be cool. So, when am I getting my Steelbook edition of A Robot Named Fight? Crow. Hey, Crow. If you pre-ordered it, all in-stock orders ship within 1 to 2 weeks. Our shipping team is small. It's in hand. We have like 2 people that do shipping. So sometimes they're away at a con. I think they're away this weekend. They're in Detroit this weekend. So they will most likely be shipping next week. But they will all get shipped out usually within 1 to 2 weeks. So that's when you'll get it. But they are in hand.
Crow's unboxing videos right there on your main page too, huh?
Yes, it is. Yes, it's good to see Crow. We appreciate everybody. So it's good to see you hanging out, and you will get it. I'm glad you got it. Cool. Game's so nice. I bought it twice. I couldn't agree more. I'll say this. I got, because I'm doing the show this weekend. We got the stuff in for the show. And one of the boxes was the Robot Named Fight Steelbook. It was the first time I saw it, and I was just like, oh my god, this came out so good. I'm just like, you know what? I'm buying a copy myself. Like, it's not even that one copy is not even going to the show. Like, I'm just buying it. I'm like, this is too good. I have to have a copy myself. It looks amazing. So, I don't blame you. When you see it in hand, again, discussing the O sleeve doesn't even do it justice. But when you see it, oh man, it's such a cool idea with that hole in the O sleeve.
So, by the Switch Collector, was it Volume 2, Part 2?
Abridged, yes.
Is that the end, or is there more to?
Oh, no. So, Volume 2, Part 2, Abridged is the second half of Year 2 of the Switch. So, Volume 2
that completes the second one.
That completes the second one. But it's called Abridged because there's less reviews in it. Because if Jeff did reviews and continued that way, it's going to be about 16 years before he finished, because he's running Premium Edition as well.
Yeah.
So he's like, let me do the Abridged to at least get this out there faster, and then I could always go back and do less, not the non-abridged ones later. So at least he can get them done. So Volume 3 is already being worked on, at least Part 1, which will be the start of Year 3. It's just, and each year there's more and more games. So each year the volumes are going to get bigger.
So Volume 3 would be like 2019?
It starts March of 2019.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, Barry. Well, thanks a lot for joining us. Always good to have you on.
Always a pleasure. Thank you so much for having me.
Premium Edition games.
Appreciate that. And unfortunately Stu wasn't here, but definitely tell him that he was missed, and I say hi. And
all right,
hopefully next time Stu and Peter there, so we get the the trifecta.
There we go.
We'll all be on. All right, well, good luck with the pre-orders tomorrow.
Thank you so much. We're looking forward to it, and hope everyone else is too. Some great games from great developers.
I have to slide this in before we go. I heard that Stu is out in California at a special screening of the limited edition of Rise of Skywalker. So if anybody's wondering where he is, that's the story.
It has an additional 45 minutes.
Oh,
so he's all excited
with lots of trailers.
Sounds good. He'll have to give the report. I'll be looking forward to that.
All right, guys. We'll see you later. Thanks for joining, everyone. Bye.
Have a good one.